It is Monday, February 4th, 2019. It is 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and so you know what time it is. It's time for a little bit of coin metal. And it was very painful. Get your ass kicked at Jiu-Jitsu Monday. I had fun, nonetheless. But it was educational, nonetheless. But I did get my ass kicked. Yeah, we were doing a little pass keep in the end there, and man, I just could not keep my guard against my opponent. He's very, very crisp, very, very clean. He is most certainly above that single stripe he was wearing on his blue belt today. But yeah, very, very good. I felt it was a useful expenditure of my time, most certainly. We were covering some stuff from the guard. In passing the guard, mostly from bullfight position, and honestly, I like the bullfight because, as far as I'm concerned, if you're already past the toe reach, you know, if I can't hook you with my toes or my ankles, you know, then that's actually like step one, is circumventing the toes and ankles. If I can get within that, then I'm halfway to several of my favorite passes. And we did cover one thing, though, just a teeny tiny thing, and I caught it the first time, and when I was going through the drill with my partner, I was noticing that he wasn't doing it, and I called him on it, and after he corrected it, it worked out way better for him. And it's funny because he was he's a bit lighter in build than I am, actually. You know, he's a little bit taller than me, a little bit thinner than me, and most certainly a little bit lighter than me. I think I outweigh him by about 60, maybe 70 pounds. And one thing I keep finding in jiu-jitsu is that they don't call it the gentle art for nothing, okay? The reason why I see the gentleness in it is there are certain body positions or body movements that you can do one of two ways. You can either, you know, be pulling with your arms, or you could be thrusting forward with your hips and achieve the same exact thing. Like from the bullfight position, say you got somebody, he's got 2 feet right at the base of your belly, right between your belly and your hips, and you just can't get past that motherfucker, right? You grab onto the tops of his gi pants and you curl up, right? Now you can do one of two things from this position. You can either A, try to pull his legs up with your upper body strength in your arms, right? Or you can push forward with your hips. Now see, if you're somebody who's about 140, 150 pounds, and the guy you're facing is about 200 and something pounds, he's got really heavy fucking legs. And you're not necessarily carrying the upper body strength to just lift his legs, right? However, your core strength in your lower back and your hips and your lower abs are strong enough to pop those hips up off of your hip. Pop those heels off of your hip, right? And so if all you did was grab onto the tops of his pants, right? And then tuck your elbows in and then pop your hips forward, it achieves the same movement, and actually probably even more movement than if you were to try to lift with your hands. Now, the additional advantage of doing it this way is you've already got your foot forward further into their position by doing that. By popping your hips up, you step 1 foot forward just a teeny tiny bit, right? And then you pop your hips forward, and then when you drape their legs back down, okay, you're already past his knee, so he can't hooky nothing, man. That thing is going to go down. So you push that bottom one down, and you carry the other one up over your knee, and you got it tucked in your hip, and there's hardly any work involved if you're doing it with your hips, as opposed to if you're trying to pull them up with your hands. And that's like the first thing. Your first reaction is, I've grabbed onto this with my hands, so I pull it with my arms. No. You could actually do it even a third way if you really wanted to get serious. You could grab the legs, right? And instead of either popping your hips forward or lifting up with your arms, you drop down and bend your knees into a squat position, and then you hold his legs right where they were, and then you thrust up into him and kind of pull up at the same time. But you just hold on to it, and you'll be able to get his heels up over your shoulders that way. But anyway, the point being that they're just little tweaks. You know, by just doing that little bitty movement forward and just pushing forward with my hips, I was able to get that 3 or 4 inches of lift I needed to get his heels off of my hips, right? And then when I draped the leg over, he didn't have even the knee or the heel to try and hook around my leg. And it's already pushed far enough into him that he's pretty much Fucksville on that side. Then it's just a matter of draping the other leg over onto your hip and passing the guard from the outside. You know, you put an arm to his hip, and then you just rotate yourself out from their side there, and you've got them in side control. But anyway, like I said, just itty bitty tweaks like that on my normal game. And you know, I really would have liked, this is a day that I really would have liked to have been there for the additional hour or whatnot of open mat, and just gone over that bump and trying to work it and see what kind of angles that I could achieve doing one of the 3 techniques. Either, you know, trying to pull it up with my arms, trying to push it up with my hips, or trying to thrust it up with my legs. One of the 3. But anyway, the other thing was my opponent actually caught this while he was in the down position during pass keep. Is I've got kind of a way that I like to pass, and the first thing I like to do is this. Like if I'm looking at somebody and they've got their ankles anywhere near the ground, what I really like to do is take my shin and my foot and step it up against their shin. You know, so that their leg is bent, right? And so then when I crouch down, I've got them kind of tucked between my knee and my ankle on that side, and they're not going to be popping out. And if they do, they'll be doing in like a shrimp position, and then I don't know, maybe I could navigate to north-south. But in any case, my thing is I like to just push it in just a little bit so that they can't push it out. You know, that ground between their ankle and their knee, you know, if you were to lay your legs out, right? And you consider it like a sector, okay? So you've got the sector between your ankles and your knees, that's one sector. The next sector is between your knees and your hips. And then the next sector after that is your hips to your shoulders, and then your shoulders to your head. So the first sector I consider is the one between your ankles and your knees. And so if you imagine you got your opponent facing you, you've got your knees bent and your ankles kind of hooked out like you're kind of in a butterfly kind of thing, or trying to pull me straight into a butterfly or whatever. You got your legs kind of in a butterfly position. The first thing I like to do is step up on one side and kind of push one of those wings, kind of tucked it in. And then when I bend the knee for that leg, I'm over that leg. So I've already broke through Sector 1, and I'm breaking through Sector 2 right there. And I've terminated all of the offensive movement you could do, and some of the defensive movement you can do from Sector 1 on that leg. The next thing is to break Sector 1 on the other leg, right? And so from there, I like to reach under the leg, and then the back of the hand push up on the bottom of their leg, support it with my left hand, and push it over. And just a big rainbow, you know, with their ankle up over me, you know. And so after I get it up off of my hip and straightened out, I like to put my chest up against the leg. So now you can't bend your knee. I've got one leg down, got it pinned, and I'm past Sector 1 and Sector 2 on your right side. All I really got to do now is, like, if you're really resisting me, like you got an ankle on my right side or something like that, all I have to do from here is grab onto your hip and push it down, and I can slough that leg right off. I'm right up to side control. And that's my one of my favorite passes is to do that. It's like I'm in a really kind of a poor position outside of my opponent. But once I get that one leg in, and I've forced closed that wing on the left hand side, that cuts off a lot of pretext for movement from my opponent. I mean, at that point, he could kind of go inverted and extend the leg out against my leg, and that would be a good defensive movement. But if he isn't trying to get free of that leg first, I consider it a breach of Sector 1 right on to Sector 2, and I'm going for Sector 3. Passing the guide. Anyway, but yeah, I had a lot of fun, and it was a really good review for me because it was stuff that I was really weak on. Because like we covered a little bit of stand up today too. We did a couple of takedowns that I still feel like I need a great deal of work on. But the coach at the end, he actually commented on that, is that a lot of people don't like to work the takedowns, and it's because you actually got a poor takedown game and you don't feel too enthusiastic about it. You know, I mean, it's like when I've pulled off takedown moves that I was trying to do, you know, that were 100% intentional, you know, like I set it up right and my opponent wasn't actually suspecting it was coming, and then it came and it was too late. I feel like I'm on the top of the fucking world at that point. So in my book, that's something to shoot for, not something to run away from. You know, so if you're like me and you got a fucking poor stand-up game, work that shit, man. If you go in and do a goddamn open mat or something like that, pick a higher belt and do takedown shit with them. That's what they're there for. Anyway, let's go ahead and throw it down into some music. And, you know, I started off with one song that I was thinking about playing, but, you know, we haven't opened it up with Body Count, and it is a Monday. And so I feel the time is now that we should do that. Open it up with a little Body Count. And so, as far as a dance, a first dance, Bloodlust. First dance. Oh, no, wait a minute. No, you know what? I haven't played this one in a long time. And I really like this song. So here it is. Talk shit, get shot. Body Count. First dance. Here on Coin Metal. That was Static X with Oscillation. And I think that's a made-up word. I'm not sure. I don't care. It's a really good song. Anywho, as far as what we're going to get into today, I made the mistake of grinding up some of my latest, and yeah, you know how that goes. Anywho, I do have plenty of stuff open up in my browser. Thankfully, gotta keep ahead of myself a little bit on that, you know. But as far as where we're going to go today, you know, this seems to be like the predominant thing in my Twitter feed. And it's this QuadrigaCX bullshit where their CEOs supposedly croaked, and then all of a sudden their fucking money's like inaccessible. And so this first article I'm going to get into has exactly that. And so here it is. It's on ccn.com. This was authored today, the 4th of February, 2019, by Joseph Young. So yes, penis. My crypto CEO. QuadrigaCX may not have Ethereum cold wallet. Where's the missing $150 million? Taylor Monahan, the founder and CEO of MyCrypto, one of the most widely utilized non-custodial wallets in crypto, has said that QuadrigaCX may never have had an Ethereum cold wallet. Crypto Wallet CEO raises questions about QuadrigaCX's claims. After evaluating 3 main Ethereum addresses used by QuadrigaCX, Monahan said that all of the addresses were likely owned by customers, not by the exchange. 2016 biggest outgoing TXS2 Bitfinex deposit, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Based on the actions via Shapeshift, I can only assume they were trading the Ethereum for Bitcoin on Bitfinex/Poloniex as well. Regardless, these were customer funds. All three main addresses ultimately receive all customer deposits, which were then sent to a variety of exchanges, she said. Earlier this month, as CCN extensively reported, Canada's largest crypto exchange, QuadrigaCX, lost its access to customer funds worth $190 million in crypto and fiat. The exchange stated that its CEO, who had sole control of the exchange's cold wallet private keys, passed away, and the firm is no longer able to access the funds as a result. Experts skeptical towards QuadrigaCX case. Can $150 million in crypto really be recovered? Throughout the past several days, several reports claim that QuadrigaCX's cold wallet addresses have been moving funds. But most of the addresses turned out to be hot wallets, given the size of the transactions initiated by the wallets. Large exchanges often store the majority of user funds in cold wallets that are stored offline and cannot be targeted by hackers. Exchanges like Binance and Coinbase are known to have implemented sophisticated systems to safeguard and protect holdings stored in cold wallets. Before initiating transactions from cold wallets, major exchanges go through weeks, even months of planning to ensure that no technical mishap occurs. Quote, is the missing crypto from QuadrigaCX's $150 million disaster on the move? Experts weigh in, and there's a fucking link. Yeah, we're going to hit it. The three main addresses of QuadrigaCX, evaluated by my crypto CEO Tyler Monahan, sent many transactions to different wallets, including the addresses of Bitfinex and Poloniex. Considering that cold wallets of exchanges usually deal with millions of dollars in customer funds, the several thousand Ethereum sent out by the three wallets show they are unlikely to be cold wallets of QuadrigaCX. Speaking on CCN, Monahan said she has yet to evaluate the main Ethereum address of QuadrigaCX that contains more than 500,000 transactions. Based on the pattern of these addresses, it is entirely possible that QuadrigaCX never had an Ethereum cold wallet. Quote, I'm seeing no indication of Quadriga ever having cold/reserve wallets for Ethereum, Monahan said. My crypto CEO added, quote, oh, and just in case you weren't shaking your head enough, don't forget that Quadriga ran an exchange with KYC. They have a pile of users' KYC data. They could turn around and open an exchange account with any of that KYC data to move money. Oh my god, that's fucked up, dude. Red flags. In previous interviews, as revealed by Cornell professor Emin Gunsier, former QuadrigaCX CEO Jerry Cotton claimed that the exchange employed a multi-signature system to protect user funds. A multi-signature system allows individuals or businesses to hold private keys to a certain address. Only when the majority of the keys are combined can the individuals or businesses obtain access to the funds stored in the address. However, the exchange evidently had not employed a multi-signature system in all of its cold wallets because it was reported that the CEO had full control over the funds. Quadriga previously claimed to have multi-sig wallets, and that was by Emin Gunsier. Apparently there's a reference, we're not going to follow it up. Jesse Powell, the CEO of Kraken, also raised suspicion on the case involving QuadrigaCX, given the absurdity of this situation. Quote, we have thousands of wallet addresses known to belong to QuadrigaCX, and are investigating the bizarre and frankly unbelievable story of the founder's death and lost keys. I'm not normally calling for subpoenas, but if the Royal Canadian Mounted Police are looking into this, contact Kraken, he said. Ooh. Damn. That's like an invite, man. It's like, yes, come and bust these motherfuckers, because we're pretty sure they're up to shady shit. And we got the transaction record to prove it. Yeah, and I gotta say, out of everybody, Kraken has been one of those organizations that has always seemed to have been on the side of helping to maintain the fidelity of cryptocurrencies, or at least provide the mentality that yes, there is an entity out there that is interested in serving your best interests and calling out bad actors and being up their ass with both hands, and that's a good thing for us, honestly. They've been one of the chief people behind chasing the funds for the Mt. Gox hack, and they found a lot of the funds by just doing regular old audits of Mt. Gox's transactions. So, when they're saying shit like QuadrigaCX didn't have no motherfucking cold wallets according to their traffic, you can kind of believe them. I'm not saying that you can, hold them above reproach or, put a Bible on them, that kind of thing, no. But I'm saying that more times than not, they do seem to be on the better side of things. When it comes to exchange hacks and funds moving around. They're paying attention. And I gotta say, I find it admirable and surprising that more entities aren't doing this kind of thing. I'm not hearing Coinbase coming out and saying, oh yeah, you know what? They had a bunch of accounts with us too. And so, in my mind, that just lends a little more credibility to Kraken, that they're willing to step forward and say, yo, we've done the fucking chain analytics here, and we're ready to show you what we got. That's basically what that was saying to me. But, it's really, really telling that the U.S. authorities aren't more up on this stuff, because you would, or any government entity. As a matter of fact, I would think Canada would be all over it like white on rice, but no, they don't seem to give a fuck that thousands of their citizens got fucked over by QuadrigaCX, apparently. I mean, and this is stinking all the high hell to me. I mean, the other thing that I saw in here, and I don't know if I've got an article corresponding with it. If I do, I'm most certainly going to be reading it on this episode. But there were some claims that Litecoin addresses that were known to belong to QuadrigaCX were moving funds. And so, this also goes to show that we do have some credibility with regard to the, how should I say it, transparency of our systems here in cryptocurrencies. Not just Bitcoin. I mean, we're talking about Ethereum here. We're also talking about Litecoin. These are supposedly quote-unquote altcoins, and according to maximalists, quote-unquote scam coins. But here we are. We've got legitimate records that these coins can be tracked by in the public. Wow. There is not a single fucking system, a single payment system on planet Earth that has that level of quote-unquote transparency. So when people tell you that there's opacity in cryptocurrencies, no. There's opacity in motherfucking legacy markets. There is not opacity within cryptocurrencies unless we're talking about third parties. And in the part of an exchange, yes, that is a trusted third party. Anybody telling you, yeah, go ahead and put your funds in this wallet and everything is fine, chances are they probably got a private way to hack it. And so this bloom I've been seeing of custodial wallets that want to jump on this whole fucking Lightning Network shit, I can guarantee you at least 80, maybe even 90% of them have absolutely no licenses with regard to like bit license or any of those. They don't have them. And you're just giving these people your fucking money, assuming that they can actually act as a legitimate custodian. And this case should fucking tell you. You should hold everybody that holds your keys other than you suspect. Everybody from your wallet service provider to your exchange to your bank to anybody. If the fucking money ain't in your hands, if you don't have the motherfucking keys, your funds are in questionable hands. Period. Now, of course, we are given a spectrum of evil to choose from here. And there are the least likely to run away with your funds, and then there are the most likely. But there are most certainly no trusted entities out there that will 100% guarantee your funds. I don't give a fuck if they've got FDIC insurance. I don't give a fuck if they're SEC compliant. I don't give a fuck if they do AML KYC. I don't care. This case also shows you AML KYC doesn't do shit but fucking threaten the legitimacy of your data. And I shouldn't say the legitimacy of your data, the safety of your data. I mean, like that article pointed out, they've got KYC level shit on thousands of clients. That's worth millions, if not much more. That's access to bank accounts. That's access to physical addresses. That's phone numbers. I would almost guarantee you that you're going to start seeing some customer data out there on the fucking black web or dark web or whatever we want to call it. I don't usually use it that much, so there you go. Dark web, rather. I wouldn't doubt that we'll start seeing some of their data out there on the dark web for sale in due course. But yeah, dude, the safest hands are always your own, and this just goes to show it. You know, that I read an article, or I read a study rather, where they'd gone through, and I keep referencing back to it because it's probably the most significant amount of data that I've actually assimilated on this. But where they found that multi-sig addresses were more vulnerable than legacy addresses, at least when it came to Bitcoin. And they actually found some private keys for Ethereum addresses too. You know, this is by doing like a multitude of addresses in one span, and so, you know, it made it a little bit easier to be comparing across them. At the same time, it's like, you know, all of this shit it's threats that we do not need to entertain. You know, we could be creating market interfaces where we're directly interfacing with one another and one another's buy and sell orders. And wow, here's another article on this QuadrigaCX thing. And like I said, I gathered a whole bunch of them. I don't know that I'm actually doing them in any particular order. But let's see here. I want to see if I can put it in some sort of linearity here. And not that one. That's entirely different. So we're through with that one. I did click on a link from another one, or from that previous article, where it actually popped up. I have absolutely no clue. Get into that. Here we go. Let's see here. This is about the Litecoin addresses, and let's see, here it is, and this one's on Reddit. I think I can throw down a ooh, my karma's up. I think I can go ahead and throw that one into Reddit, or not Reddit. I'm in the Verge currency Discord, and also in the Telegram chans, and so I just went ahead and threw in this thing about Quadriga up on Discord for Verge currency. Anyway, in Reddit, QuadrigaCX LTC cold wallet list and analysis. And we got several addresses here and balance. Let's see. First one's got a balance of 7,860 Litecoin. Next one is 60,000. Let's see here. Next one is 195, and the last one is 86,855 Litecoin. Here's a method used to track these cold wallets. Logic: find hot wallets and find the input to the hot wallets. Those input are cold wallets. Check their balance. Edit based on comments. Quadriga's hot wallet would get coins in two ways, either during deposit or to replenish hot wallet for withdrawal. We try to identify the wallet addresses that are sending input to hot wallet and also have huge sum of receive/send/balance that could be exchanged. Any address that has input into the hot wallet are wallets that are fully in control of Quadriga. Could also be an address that belongs to a Quadriga user whose private key belongs to Quadriga. We try to find those addresses. I'm assuming these people don't speak English because they left a couple of things out. It's okay. Find those addresses that still have huge sum of balances left, because those are the ones that matter. If these wallet addresses that I posted are addresses belonging to Quadriga's users, Quadriga could be treating one of its own usernames as a cold address, then Quadriga still has access to the private key and funds. If these are really cold addresses, there should be no outgoing transactions from them if the private key is lost. Regardless, the addresses posted are or at least used to be controlled by Quadriga. And then step 1, let's take a look at this transaction made in April. Quadriga balance deposit. And, oh, dude, they laid out the full analysis here. And that's really, really cool. And let's read some of the comments, because let's see. These are the cold wallets I found from my transactions. We need to follow the same approach on other valid transactions to find out other cold wallets. And yeah, like I said, let's dive into some of the comments here. The first one here is by Von Doom. Well done, man, and kudos to laying out your methods. It all makes sense. The community is going to be what makes it harder or impossible for Quadriga to get away with anything. If we work together, there is a lot we can do. Goddamn Skippy, man. Next one is Nick Gecko. How can these be from the cold wallet if crypto is going out of them right now? I thought the cold wallet keys were lost. Damn, that's right, man. That's right. That's why we're actually here. The next one is by Strong Free. I think he's just found 4 big wallets of customers that have interacted with the hot wallet. All 4 of the examples that he found are far too active to be cold storage, and many of the transactions are frankly too small. I don't see any proof here that those are the cold wallets that Quadriga was using. Use some common sense. If these were cold wallets, you wouldn't want to be opening them up that frequently to be creating transactions. You should be looking for large wallets that receive several deposits a week and maybe send one large transaction back per month. Edit. Also, you would also expect the cold wallets would have a fairly limited number of addresses that they interact with. That's a good point. Next one is by Veritable Pilled. Yeah. I'm sorry, Vanna Black Pilled. The guy was running the same damn thing from his basement in a laptop and from his phone. How do we know that that's not the entire game plan? Yeah, it could very well be. Jaguzmi says all of those QuadrigaCX cold wallets. Why would someone still be putting funds to them? Doesn't make much sense to me. Yeah. Yeah. Ongoing out transactions. Just looking through a few of them here. So I could send to the hot wallets. This one here. It's by Cannonball 6_08. Only QuadrigaCX's cold wallets would send to the hot wallets. This is completely incorrect. Every user's deposit address will immediately turn around and send to the hot wallet. Check yourself. Find the address to which you deposited. Check it out on the Block Explorer. You will see a transaction corresponding to the amount it just received going out to the hot wallet. This is a transaction that you did not initiate. What you need is to find the address to which the hot wallet sends large value transactions consistently. Next one is a response to that one by Pal Hello. You are asking the wrong question. What is a cold wallet? Can a user's wallet be a cold wallet? Why not? Maybe it is. When they say they lost the key to cold wallet, and if we find a user's wallet that is being served as a cold wallet, then what happens? The fact is, any wallet address whose private key is controlled by Quadriga is at risk here. If it's a user's wallet, then even good, they never mentioned that they lost the keys to them, and it has funds, so why are they not giving back the funds? That's kind of broken English here. The next one is by Kane_Nake or Niak. A cold wallet is a wallet not connected to the internet. To make a transaction from a cold wallet, an unsigned transaction is generated on an online watch wallet. A watch wallet does not contain private keys to be able to spend from it manually by a human being. This transaction is transferred to the cold wallet without the use of the internet and signed there. Then the signed transaction is transferred back and broadcast from the internet. This is a cold wallet. Once an automated hot wallet runs empty or close to empty, a human interaction is required to move the right amount of funds from cold to hot. And in the other direction, once a hot wallet is full, coins should be sent from the hot to cold wallet. This can be automated. In the other direction cannot. Yeah. Yeah. They're all going into a whole bunch of back and forth here, but what differentiates a cold wallet from a hot wallet in my sense is whether or not it's online. It's like this. So say you want to send some funds from your hot wallet to a quote-unquote cold wallet. The way I would do it is I would have an offline computer, perhaps that I'm even probably using a live CD OS on, that has a key generator or a wallet generator, paper wallet generator on it. I would generate a hot wallet on it during a live CD session and save it off to a USB drive. So we have no network connection, we have no persistent OS, and we have temporary storage that we're putting it to. After we disengage the temporary storage, it's no longer available to even the computer that is not online, that does not have its own OS. Once we take the disk out, the live OS session is over. There is no computer that originated the key. See where I'm going there? That is a cold wallet. Now, of course, before you disconnected the USB drive, you would copy the public address. Okay, and you save that to a text file on your main hard drive or something from your live CD. That way, you terminate the live CD session. You've saved the public key, that is, on a text message or text on your computer or whatever. And so when you log back in, you got the text that you can copy now, and you copy that to a hot wallet. And you send funds to it. You put the public address for the paper wallet as your receive address in your transaction. So now you send the funds to that wallet online. So the transaction will happen on chain, and the funds will officially be on that key for that wallet. So now when you scan the private key, when you want to get those funds back, you've got your hot wallet, right? And it'll be attached to a device with a camera, hopefully. Or you could actually just type in the private key and sweep the funds into a hot wallet. And now the funds are spendable. But that's the difference between a hot wallet and a cold wallet. A hot wallet is the one that you use all the time. It's connected to the internet, and yes, you can receive and send funds to it from it, but it is not a quote unquote cold wallet because it is connected to the internet. And that's where all your man-in-the-middle attacks and all that other bullshit happens. But as far as setting up a cold wallet, like I said, you have a non-networked computer, and you have a USB drive that has, or a CD with a OS on it, and maybe you won't have the key generator on the OS CD. Maybe you'll have it on your thumb drive, but you'll generate a cold wallet address from it, and then if you copy the public address, you can send funds to it from your hot wallet or elsewhere. So say you log on to your exchange account. You send the funds directly to your cold wallet from your exchange account. Then the only thing that you pay for is the transaction fee for that, and the funds are secure. Funds are SAFU. Anyway, let's go ahead and throw back down into some music. And I got some Slayer playing in the background, but that's not exactly where I wanted to go, because we did play some Slayer already, and I've got enough music now that I can play all kinds of different new stuff. Damn it, Jim. Recently added is not showing up anymore. Man, now I'm gonna have to scan through, find exactly what I wanted to find. What the fuck, man? Where is it? Is it here? Yes, it is. Oh my god, it is. Headhunter by Doyle, here on Coin Metal. And that was Helmet with Diet Aftertaste. I figured that was appropriate coming up after Ouroboros. Because Ouroboros is the snake chewing on its own tail, right? Anywho, I love my Twitter feed. I really do. I got this thing, and it just happens to be about the subject matter that we're discussing here. And this one's a tweet on my Twitter feed by Spoofy McSpoofface. Convicted for identity theft and bank card theft, Omar Daniani, or Denani, changed his name to Michael Patron and eventually co-founded QuadrigaCX. Just the kind of guy I'd want to send my money, banking, and personal info to so I could buy Bitcoin. I just wanted to point out here, all this AML KYC bullshit has been made an expectation by our regulatory entities, and it is now constituting a vast personal threat to all of us. Thank you very much, regulatory entities. Why don't you just fuck off? We were much better off without you. Even with exchanges running off with our fucking money, even with scam coins making a bunch of audacious bullshit claims, we were better off without you, requiring us to divest all of our personal fucking information just to trade cryptocurrencies or just to buy cryptocurrencies. Fuck you again. Predicted that shit would happen back when fucking BitLicense came out and all this fucking bullshit came out. Oh, we need a sample of your blood and your hair and your urine and your sperm and your ovum and all that other shit just to trade on here, because we got to know who you are. Make sure you're not money laundering. Fuck bullshit. Anyway, oh wow, it gets even better. Holy shit. I clicked on this link here that Spoofy McSpoofface provided, and we'll get into that just in a moment here, but he's posted several pictures along with this tweet, and you gotta love this shit. First one is a picture of apparently a subpoena or some shit. Department of Justice for immediate release, Friday, November 18th, 2006. Oh, this is U.S. DOJ something or other. Here it is. 6 defendants plead guilty in internet identity theft and credit card fraud conspiracy. Shadow Crew organization was called, quote, one-stop online marketplace for identity theft. Washington, D.C., 6 men who administered and operated the, quote, shadowcrew.com website, one of the largest online centers for trafficking in stolen credit card and bank numbers and identity information, pleaded guilty today in federal court. The Department of Justice and U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of New Jersey announced today. The one-stop online marketplace operated by the defendants was taken down October 2004 by the U.S. Secret Service, closing an illicit business that trafficked in at least 1.5 million stolen credit and bank card numbers and resulted in losses in excess of $4 million. Andrew Montavani, 23, of Scottsdale, Arizona; Kim Taylor, 47, of Arcadia, California; Jeremy Stevens, 31, of Charlotte, North Carolina; Brandon Monchamp, 22, of Scottsdale, Arizona; Omar Danani, 22, of Fountain Valley, California; Jeremy Zielinski, 22, of Longwood, Florida, entered guilty pleas to the lead count of conspiracy before the U.S. District Judge William J. Martin. Judge Martin scheduled sentencing in late February and early March. The defendants admitted their respective roles in the online conspiracy to commit credit card and bank card theft, or fraud, rather, as well as identification document fraud. Montavani also pleaded guilty to a second count of unlawful transfer of identification to facilitate criminal conduct. Montavani admitted his role in illegally obtaining approximately 18 million email accounts with associated personally identifying information. Ah, yes. As Spoofy McSpoofface indicated, exactly the type of person you want to give your fucking money and information to, right? Next little thing here is corporate structure and holdings. Number 16, Jerry was the sole director and officer of FinTech, and he held 16.8 million of the 40,748,300 outstanding shares in FinTech. Since 2015, FinTech has been a reporting company. When Jerry and his co-founder Mike Patron hoped to make it a publicly traded company, this did not happen. In early 2016, all of the other directors of FinTech resigned, although Jerry remained as a director. Around the same time period, the British Columbia Securities Commission issued a cease trade order in connection with FinTech shares. I'm advised by counsel for the companies and do believe that the cease trade order was issued for failure to file disclosure documents such as financial statements. Number 17, I'm advised by Mr. Patron and do believe that he and Jerry had been seeking to buy back the shareholdings of the investors in FinTech since the cease trade order was issued. Mr. Patron's information is consistent with what Jerry had told me. Mr. Patron has advised me, and I do believe that a Hong Kong company called Crypto Consulting Group Ltd., of which Mr. Patron is the sole director, has entered into agreements to purchase the shareholdings of several of FinTech's shareholders. Mr. Patron advised that Crypto Group is the beneficial owner of 7,095,000 95,000 fintech shares. Mr. Patron's partner, Lovey Horner, holds 4.2 million shares of fintech. A copy of the last recorded share register of fintech is attached in Exhibit D. Yeah, whatever. Basically, they were volunteering to give the money back. They're like, dude, we'll give the money back. Just keep us out of jail, please. But yeah, dude, that's really interesting. It's easy to kill somebody off if you aren't really that somebody. And I've got this thing on Reddit here, and this gets really interesting. The first one is by Intraday56. I've compiled everything you need to know here. Mike Patron is one of the founders of QuadrigaCX. He is part of a criminal mafia mob and has been to jail before for carding theft, ID theft, and Ponzi schemes. His real name is Omar Donani. Here's an article from CoinDesk that names Patron as co-founder of QuadrigaCX. And there it is. Omar Donani, aka Mike Patron, was one of 6 men arrested for internet theft and credit cards conspiracy fraud back in 2005. It says 2004. It was actually 2005. It was actually 2004. They were operating ShadowCrew.com, blah, blah, blah. We got that one. At the time of Shadow Crew was busted by the U.S. Secret Service, Omar Donani was a resident in Fountain Valley, California. We got that part. Search on Intellius lists Omar Donani from Fountain Valley, California, along with his relatives Nazmin Donani and blah, blah. We're not going to fucking dox everybody there. And there is an Intellius thing here. Now here's where it gets interesting. Nazim Donani and Michael Patron have apparently registered several companies together, one of them being MPD Advertising. Omar Donani relatives Nazmin Donani and Nabat Bibi Donani. Michael Patron registered at least one company, MPD Advertising Inc., with Nazmin Donani. Yeah, that's interesting. Next one is, how do you know Omar and Michael are the same person? Omar Donani used the aliases interchangeably as Michael Patron, or just Patron, or Omar Patron. It's one of the same person used to advertise and run Ponzi's on the now defunct Ponzi forum Talk Gold, ran a scam exchange Midas Gold. I think I remember Midas Gold. The VFS-network.com, which is now renamed to VFS Securities, was arrested in Montreal in 2013 in connection to a money laundering operation through Liberty Reserve. Let's see. Next one. Let's see. Lost all credibility when he said parties criminal mob. That's what they are. Blah, blah, blah. If you look at Shadow Crew, it's exactly how they operated. Yeah. You know, it's kind of obvious that they are part of a much bigger organization, and they're probably just one tentacle of a big old octopi. But yeah, like I said, none of this shit would be possible if it weren't a requirement of us to divest so much information in the name of national security. More like proper taxation, right? You know, make sure the government gets their fucking cut. Well, you know what, government? You don't actually need my personal information associated with that shit to get your cut. You just require that the provider give my cut or something like that. And of course, I can decide, based on the information then, whether or not I want to trade with them. But yeah, so got this next article on this mind-blowing subject. It's here on ccn.com, and I think this was actually attached to that other one. Yeah, this is actually from the 3rd of February 2019. Is the missing crypto from QuadrigaCX's $150 million disaster on the move? Experts weigh in. According to several reports, some funds from the missing $150 million holdings of Canada's biggest crypto exchange, QuadrigaCX, could be moving. On Saturday, CCN reported that QuadrigaCX lost more than $190 million in funds stored in both crypto and fiat as the CEO, who had sole control over the funds, passed away. In a strange turn of events, some industry experts have expressed skepticism toward the case as wallets connected to the exchange's hot wallets started to move. Inconclusive evidence, not definitive if it's Quadriga's cold wallets containing crypto. A Reddit user with an online alias PalHello, which we already covered, studied all major wallets that interacted with the exchange's hot wallet. The user discovered that several wallets have initiated transactions fairly recently after QuadrigaCX's case was publicized. The user claimed that 4 of the addresses evaluated in the research have been controlled by QuadrigaCX in the past. Quote, any addresses that has inputs into the hot wallet are wallets that are fully in control of Quadriga, could also be addresses that belongs to a Quadriga users whose private key belongs to Quadriga, the user said. The user added that regardless of the situation, if the private keys held by the CEO were lost, the wallet should not be able to initiate outgoing transactions. The user said, quote, if these really are cold wallet addresses, there should be no outgoing transactions from them if private key is lost. Regardless, the addresses posted are, or at least used, to be controlled by Quadriga. However, it cannot be said definitively that the 4 wallets which interacted with Quadriga's hot wallet are cold wallets. Well, obviously they aren't. If they have fucking outgoing transactions, they're not fucking cold wallets. I mean, if they have several outgoing transactions, they're not cold wallets. You usually sweep the wallet and get rid of it after you've done so. Anyway, continuing on. Until the investigation from local police is complete, it will be difficult to prove that the wallets which interacted with Quadriga's hot wallet are the exchange's cold wallets. Skepticism. Jesse Powell, the CEO of Kraken, a major crypto exchange that operates in both the US and Canada, said, quote, we have thousands of wallet addresses known to belong to QuadrigaCX and are investigating the bizarre and frankly unbelievable story of the founder's death and lost keys. I'm not normally calling for subpoenas, but if the Royal Canadian Mounted Police are looking into this, contact Kraken. Peter Todd, a Bitcoin expert, and an applied cryptography consultant, emphasized that until the investigation is complete, all possibilities have to be considered. Quote, the people trying to pull off a Quadriga exit scam could actually be the family and other employees by hiding the fact that the cold wallet keys are known. Not saying this is happening, but need to consider all the possibilities fairly in the investigation, Todd said. Yeah, whatever, Todd. That's a valid point, but the sources, whatever. It is entirely possible that the cold wallets of QuadrigaCX are currently not moving, but rather wallets that were associated with the exchange previously, which are not related to the company, are becoming active again. That's a possibility. That it could have been some fucking massive whale. The guy doing the analysis mistook the huge volume to represent a cold wallet, and so on and so forth. Anyway, the time frame of transactions have led analysts to become suspicious toward the case, but there is not enough evidence to state that the cold wallets that were in control of the CEO are moving. The situation could have been prevented. Yeah, you could have not fucking asked for all the fucking AML KYC bullshit. A multi-signature system, is said by Cornell professor Emmett Gunsier, blah blah blah. QuadrigaCX previously claimed to be using a multi-signature system. A multi-signature system allows many organizations or individuals to hold private keys to a wallet and access it once the keys are combined. A 3 of 5 or 5 of 7 multi-signature system, which requires the presence of the majority of the keys to gain access to funds, prevent unfortunate events from leading to the loss of user funds. If the company had implemented a proper multi-signature system, $150 million in user funds would have remained safe. No, they would not have remained safe. They just would have been in different hands. Or in multiple hands. Or maybe enough hands that the fucking CEO couldn't kick the bucket and fuck everybody over. Honestly, given the background that we've been able to review tonight alone in the last, hour and a half, maybe? I would say that, according to my experience, what's going on is this, and this is just my opinion. I'm not some fucking expert analyst or whatever, but I've been around a little while. Kind of seen a lot of these exit scams and shit take place. And what it seems to me is that you've got an identity theft, or an identity thief rather, and he's the person that was the CEO, right? In my opinion, he didn't have a formal quote-unquote exchange in operation. He might have been exchanging funds for people. He might have been moving them around for people. He might have even had help doing it. Probably had help doing it. But the fact is, I don't think he actually had a de facto quote-unquote exchange. I think that basically he was running fractional reserves, that kind of business. And, he got in a position where he was too wrecked to continue. And he had funds that were left over. And so he said, I'm going to kill off this identity and take the money. And that's what he did. But that's just my analysis. He didn't actually have quote-unquote cold wallets. Okay, he had hot wallets that he was doing transactions from. But, I don't know. I'm just going by my background and the background that I've been able to discern here. He's previously been convicted of identity theft and bank card fraud, and bank account fraud. So he's obviously an experienced fraudster. Probably just got out of jail recently too, or relatively recently. Probably did his fucking decade for frauds. But yeah, as soon as he got back out, he was back in the game again. He started setting it up, and those people that were still in operation outside help him set up, and so on and so forth, back to the game. Probably didn't even get out of it while he was in prison. He was probably in prison communicating with people outside of prison and conducting fraud that way. You never know. But obviously this guy's got some well-heeled connections, because he keeps ending up getting people to give him a lot of money. So he's got to be passing somebody's smell test. It's obviously not any legitimate government smell test. It's obviously not meeting up to the criteria of what we would anticipate out of a non-fraudster. So yeah, the chances are he never stopped. And as a matter of fact, the identity and information that he's been using has probably been from his previous enterprises as an identity thief. Probably had all kinds of information that he could rely on. People die. Anyway. So, I do have some other stuff on this, I think. But I don't know. I think we've kind of beaten this dead horse and kind of run it to ground. But like I said, the kind of information that we're talking about very, very openly here with regard to the fraud in this case, it would not be possible for average people such as yourselves and me to do this level of investigation into anything if it was happening in quote-unquote legacy finance. If Goldman Sachs were doing this shit, you and I would never fucking know about it. The only time we would find out about it is if some regulator or some class action suit or some shit brought it into court. Then we would find out what was revealed in court. We would not know the extent of the actual criminal activity. We would not know the paper trail behind all of the funds. We would not be able to track it like we can here. And this is something that I really wish the people that are talking about regulating cryptocurrencies would pay attention to. Honestly, I think they are paying attention to it, and they understand that we do have this level of transparency currently. And so they're spending all their time trying to divorce us away from the points of legitimate contact that we've enjoyed contact with or enjoyed access to. You know, imagine for a moment if all of this shit was happening off-chain. How transparent would it be then? It's not happening on-chain, so we can't actually track the addresses on-chain, and we have to trust the custodians involved to actually divest or provide that information to us. Oh, sure, you could have a node for now, but I imagine in the not-so-distant future, especially with the involvement of legacy individuals and parties within the Lightning Network and off-chain space, that at some point or another, the block space on Bitcoin's blockchain is going to get too fucking expensive for even Lightning Network current participants to maintain any payment channels open. In addition, I also expect that if there's enough traffic going on those Lightning nodes that are in existence right now, that regulators are going to take notice and they're going to say, hey, we noticed that you processed $2 million worth of transactions last year and you didn't pay us a fucking thing for it, so we're going to require you via this cease and desist order to turn off your fucking node or register as a money transmitter and custodian in your state and federally. Thank you very much. Fuck you. Or worse yet, you could do business with somebody, or you could process a transaction for somebody in New York, and they've already got you covered under that fucking BitLicense shit. They've had you covered since about 2014 when they signed that fucking shit into law. You know, I mean, really, man. People just don't pay attention to the legislative end of things. They're still, after a decade, they're still in this fantasy land where, you know, governments aren't paying attention to this shit, and they're not tracking my funds, and they're not taking account of how much taxes I'm actually paying or not paying. I'm like, yeah, whatever, dude. Whatever. The more you rely on third parties, the more information they have on you, and the more control or more access points they have over your funds. This idea that you're going to be able to do the same things that banks do, and you're going to be able to do the same thing that SWIFT does, and some regulatory banhammer isn't going to fly out of nowhere and hit you. You're just not paying attention. There used to be a time when exchanges did not require AML KYC. It was a fucking email and a receive address, and you were off to the races. That was it. You know, there was a time when Shapeshift, all you needed was a fucking email and a receive address. There was a time there was Cryptsy, there was MintPal, there was Bittrex. As a matter of fact, Bittrex, okay, they've been alive on both sides of the border there, when before all you had to do was give them your email address and a receive address, and you could fucking trade altcoins all day long. And yet here they are, still. Despite all the shit that's happened, you know, they've even had a hack. They're battle tested. They had a chance to learn from that shit before anybody came over their shoulder and pointed at their shit and said, "Oh yeah, you got to do this and you got to do that. And you got to do AML, KYC, blood sample, sperm sample, hair sample, picture, phone number, bank card, credit card information, physical address." Yeah, before all that was a requirement, we were doing billions of dollars worth of transactions here. The world did not catch on fire. Fucking ISIS did not turn into an independent nation because of our money laundering. And we were just fine. And these kinds of scams, they got picked out a lot fucking quicker too. because more people expected of themselves and other players within this space, other traders within this space, to understand that it was up to us to keep an eye on this shit. It wasn't up to the SEC. We never assumed that the SEC, CFTC, FDIC, any of these fucking entities were overlooking anybody's shoulders and making sure they were playing nice. We never existed with that assumption. And we have only gotten less safe since they've involved themselves in trying to regulate this space. If you've been here long enough, you know this to be true. And I can tell you right now, the more they intrude into this space, the less safe we're actually going to be. You know, I mean, I saw something the other day where some dude was clipped in Puerto Rico, and somebody's asking, is Puerto Rico even safe for cryptocurrency enthusiasts anymore? I mean, apparently this dude was self-made from his dealings in cryptocurrencies and was basically chillaxing down there. He just got killed the other day, 2 days ago. You know, so it's like, what if, and I'm just saying, what if somebody is paying really fucking close attention to who's got all kinds of money? Thank God I'm not more successful at trading. I'll just say that. You know, I mean, really, you got to wonder why the founder of Bitcoin fucking bailed, right? It was because of this shit. It's exactly because of this shit. You get fucking clipped. You get fucking divorced, and she wants half of the 1 million Bitcoin that you have, and you were stupid enough to marry her without a prenuptial agreement in California, and now she's entitled to 50% of that. She gets that 500,000 fucking Bitcoin, dumps them on fucking Coinbase, completely fucks the price. There's a reason why the man bailed. You know? He knew that they don't play fair on the other side. You know, even if they do have the law on their side, they don't play fair. You know, all this talk of quote-unquote regulatory clarity, you know what they're actually saying there? They're actually saying there, when more corporations control more of the hashing power of the network, when we've kicked more of the fucking little people off the network, when we've rinsed the networks of them, then we'll have regulatory clarity. I.e., we'll know that all the banks have the majority of the hashing power on the network. That's what regulatory clarity means. Like I said, cryptocurrencies are already the most transparent form of monetary transfer known to man. That's with the public mining the currency, mining the transactions. So to those who are in question and got people over your shoulders saying, yeah, we need regulatory clarity, fuck you. You got to tell those people to fuck off. If you got any questions about regulatory clarity in cryptocurrencies, look up one of your transactions on the blockchain. You'll find out everywhere the fucking coins went. It's all there. You cannot ask Goldman Sachs for that level of transparency. You can't. Because invariably you're going to find out that, they sent some money they did a monetary transfer for some mafia dons, some known mafia actors. You know, they did some monetary activity for some known coke pushers down in Colombia and shit. Give me a fucking break, man. They cannot be as legitimate and transparent as we are in cryptocurrencies. They can't. The whole edifice of what we fantasize civilization is would fall to pieces. I mean, you would see fucking criminal money going all over the fucking place, running all kinds of legitimate shit that you thought was legitimate in front of you. And no, it's funded by some subsidy, by some criminal organization that's getting some benefit out of its existence. And whether that criminal organization be a family or a corporate entity or a government entity or a government associated entity, we don't know. We don't really care, right? Now see, for me personally, I would rather it be on the blockchain. I really don't give a fuck if it is on the blockchain. even if it's not associated with any personally identifiable information. We'd still be able to see the monetary activity on the network and understand that people trust this shit enough to transfer billions and billions of dollars to one another over this thing. You know, we can't really see that if it's being transferred via liquid or any of these other derivative bullshit side chains that these fucking people are trying to base off of Bitcoin's work. You know, I've said this multiple times on the show, and I will say it again until people actually take it to heart. You're basing your shit on other people's work. Really consider the possibility that those other people might not agree with you when it comes to an implementation that you want to put out on the network. They might just say, you know what, this turns the project that I've been involving myself in into something that I don't believe in anymore. And so I'm not going to implement it. And that if enough people actually agree with them, that it's not going to get fucking implemented. It's going to sit on the sideline along with all the other bullshit that you tried to force on the network that they said, no, I don't think I want to implement that either. That is where proof of work gets some of its legitimacy. Especially if the miners are actually educating themselves on the potential implementations being presented. If they are looking at them and saying, you know what, this actually makes things to where it's kind of fucked up. If they know what they're looking at, they should be able to make that choice for themselves in full knowledge of what the expectation of the outcome will be. And this is why I strongly suggest everybody that is involving themselves in this space start with the Bitcoin white paper. That has proven to be the litmus test for all of the shit that has come out since. If it doesn't match the kind of expectations that the white paper sets up for Bitcoin, then it's probably not Bitcoin, and it's probably not all that legitimate either. If it's requiring licensed or paid third parties, it is not Bitcoin. It's some other buttfuck that you really don't need to be involving yourself in to be able to transfer funds to anybody on planet Earth. It was designed specifically to operate without third parties. And so people that are presenting it to you and saying, oh no, Bitcoin, it can't work as Satoshi Nakamoto said it can, and so you need a third party involved. Hey, bullshit. This has worked 10 years without third parties. 10 years. There have been global peer-to-peer transactions going on all over this fucking planet without third-party intermediaries. What else is a third-party intermediary going to be able to provide you that final settlement in 10 minutes can't? Not a fucking thing. If they could, they would. But, they have expenses too. In order to keep an eye on your shit, they have to hire people to be able to examine your shit. And also to be regulatory compliant, they have to actually hire licensed individuals or people that are licensable under them. And that shit racks up. Those people aren't free. That comes with the premium, And so here we are. We're creating jobs and shit, right? Yeah, it's big fucking wonderful, right? Until you're turning something that was essentially a penny or less into something that I'm paying $2.50 for. And now it's a pain in the ass, and I need to look for another way to transfer my money around. Because you cannot do it cheap. You cannot do it fast. Not as fast as I can without you. Anyway, let's go ahead and throw back down into some music. And I'm feeling some need for infectious grooves here. So here it is. These freaks are here to party. Here on Coin Metal. And that was Meshuggah with Bleed. And it is with that we're going to be calling this one to a close. Thank you very, very much for your support.